Hey everyone, welcome into the Processing Mind blog. I'm B, your host, and today is going to be a special entry to kickstart the month of May. It's been almost an entire lap around the sun since I created this blog in the first place that was dedicated to intentional growth and purpose. And so to start volume 2 of the Processing Mind blog, I am titling it Soiled Root, to talk about how we as seeds need different environments to grow, to really acknowledge which specific soil helps us thrive. So I've invited my twin sister Dory on. She's a recent graduate from Cal State Northridge, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about her experience studying abroad in an entirely different country of Europe, how she was immersed in different cultures and different traditions and different perspectives and influences, and how that really shaped her as a person, and how she attempted to take that back home with her, but unfortunately being in that environment with this newfound self did not help her thrive, and ultimately resorted her back to the way she was before she even left. So all of this to say, it's really important to acknowledge who you are and how you view yourself in different places. So if you find that there's a specific place where you like yourself better, it's so important to keep you there, because from there you allow yourself to really bloom. And that's all that we want here, is really to allow ourselves to bloom into the flower, because the truth is we just can't stay a seed forever. So let's dive into the insight she has with us and go from there. Okay, so basically the victory that I had today was I paid off my car and I finally got the title transferred. A friend of mine helped me out of a rut. I had no credit whatsoever. I had no car. This was during a time where I bought my dream car too soon and I could not afford it. And the year was perfect for turning in old cars, and you actually got money back. You were not in the negative. And so I took my out as the responsible adult who could not pay for her car. And I was without anything for about 6 months. No, excuse me, 4 months. And a friend came along and offered me a car to take over the payments. And so he allowed it to be on his credit until I paid it off, which was about 3 years. It took me 3 years to pay off this car. And it's also taken me about 3 months to get it transferred because, as an adult, you just need so many admin days. And one of my admin days was to do a smog, and it just took me so long. And so finally I did it. And after that, we went to AAA and we got it transferred, and all was good. And something that made me realize something that, well, I don't know. I called you and I was telling you that I was so excited I paid off my car, but please tell me why I still feel like I don't have any money despite canceling out that entire car payment. Life just keeps getting busy, and we keep putting on like shackles and chains. And I essentially just asked you, why is it that I still feel like I don't have any money?
And I want to say real quick, first off, that's amazing. Congratulations that you finally have the car in your name.
Thank you.
You would think the hardest part is paying it off, but it seemed to be a little bit of both, just doing those extra chores. And then I also want to say that when you ask me that question of why do you still feel like you just don't have any money, I feel like your situation is a little bit more complicated than what I had brought up earlier, because you're a mom,
Yeah.
and a wife, and an individual. So there's so many wants going on in your life. But basically, what my answer was is just because we just have so many wants in our lives. Like there's just so many things that we want. And even before we get them, by the time we have our money, it feels like we've already spent it, because we already know where we want
Oh
to
my
put that
God.
money to.
The world in
Um,
a nutshell.
and of course, there's like a ton of bills as well. But I just feel like we have made like like I don't know, our culture, like our lifestyle is just filled with so many necessities that used to be what you would consider as a privilege, you know what I mean? But now
Yeah.
it's just we need those things now to survive or have a normal lifestyle, which is like the streaming services, like the
Yes.
subscriptions, like other subscriptions. Some people have like, monthly boxes coming in, or I have Canva. Canva's a need. Like that is a need. Like that's what I want. But isn't that funny to say? I mean, that's funny. Like
Yeah.
Canva's a need for me.
I was at AAA doing the transfer, and they had something was up in the air. They were talking about this digital license plate where you can just customize emojis on it, like make it as specific colors. I don't know anything about it, so obviously if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm just overhearing this. But they said the first payment is like $700, and then thereafter it's a yearly annual payment. And I'm just like, I can't even think about that's so. I can't even think about putting money to that, but there's so many people that do. And I'm
Well,
just
yeah,
like, in my
because
head, I'm like, where does that money come from? Like, where does it come from? And at what point do we decide to live without it? You know, like the rest, there's so much across the world that doesn't even have the things that we have, and they function just fine. Like you studied abroad. Can you tell me a little bit about how you transitioned from America going overseas and like what you thought was useful to bring and what you realized wasn't, and how, you know, how your life was over there and your routine?
yes, but I do want to quickly comment on what you said in regards to, this idea of paying all that money for the digital, um, the digital license plate and this creative expression associated with your car. And it really just made me think how humans, we're so, I don't know if it's so sentimental or we're so like expressionate that we have now, it's not just our bodies. Now we have extensions of our bodies, things that we identify outside of our bodies,
Interesting.
but that is a part of our identity. So you would have like the car um, enthusiasts that would be a need for them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That would be, they can't go without it. Like that is a part of them. They need it. I was just talking to mom today, which is your mom. I was just talking to mom today and I was like, it's crazy. I love books so much. And when I was trying to downsize, I was just thinking, I can't get rid of those things. Even though if I don't open them often, they're a part of my room in a little library. I could just look at it and I just see myself like that's a part of me and I need that there to feel more of myself. So I can't get rid of it. It's an extension of our body but it's also a want now made into a need, which
Creative
isn't always
expression is it sounds good in theory, but why does it have to be so much money? Why does it have to be so much like
capitalism.
I like oh man, get out of
Well, that
here.
was a whole different conversation, but yeah. I mean, we also want as much as we can get too. Like it's never enough. Like we always want if we can charge as much and get it, why would we charge any less
Do
for
they
it?
have
And
anything
because
like that in London that, you know, is free, or is there something like
there's
that
a
that's equivalent? Like what did you find over there?
there's a lot going on in London. I want to preface that I understand that my situation studying abroad was through the lens of a student. I studied abroad. I was an adult. I was 25 years old, but I was a student, and so that comes with its own shelters. And I'm based off different. It's a different environment as well. So, but I did notice that there was a lot more activities for less. Like I went to this book club and they charged like I don't know, I think what was it, like £5 like monthly or something for it. You know what I mean? It's very cheap when you think about it
I'm
versus
sorry,
over
what is
here.
5 quid?
£5 would probably be like $7, I think,
Okay.
or 6.30, something around there, depending on the day because the currency changes. But it's
Right.
around that, for a month. Whereas over here, it'd probably be like a $20 subscription, a $12 subscription, just
Okay.
more.
Okay.
Um, but they did have activities like that, and specifically in my school there were societies that you would just pay £3 for the year. You know what I mean? So 2 semesters. They could do it 1 semester, you know what I mean, but they do it for the whole academic year. But remember, like I said, that's that's associated with the institution. But there was aerial classes that you could take and they would offer like free like trials and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just felt, and there was also markets, like you can go to more like farmers markets kind of things, like people selling their own individual stuff. I feel like it was, personally I felt like it was cheaper, but it all depends on a person's economic situation. But I do feel like there's a lot more opportunities to also participate in, I don't know, activities beyond school once you're an adult, because I feel like it's very hard to participate and live as an adult versus survival. But um, going back to your question in regards to like studying abroad and kind of witnessing the change of once and figuring out what I brought because I was there for 10 months. Um, I think what we had talked about previously was I had said, once you change your environment, you're entering a different atmosphere, you're entering a different culture, and that culture might do a lot more with less. Like from what I noticed when I stayed at the University of Birmingham, so I was in the second largest city in the UK, and I just found that the culture around me, they didn't eat out. Like it wasn't a huge part of the culture. Like they might go for like an ice cream cone or they might go out with a friend, but it wasn't like a day to day basis. Like they would pack their lunches. And so sooner or later, I mean, I never here in California, I never pack my lunches. Maybe that's by me being irresponsible, or it was just like, yeah, I can just grab fast food. There's just so much fast food. You know what I mean? And so I just started packing my lunches. I started being more in control over what I ate. And because others were doing it, it was a lot easier for me to do it. Um, and this question of how did you choose what to bring? I think I'll like fast forward a little bit in saying, I think that once, the choosing was very difficult. I really, I tried to pack very little because, when you travel, you want to put stuff in your suitcase. But when I got there, I realized that I didn't miss anything that I didn't bring. And if I did miss it, I asked people to come and visit me and bring those things,
What were
but
those
that,
things? What were some of those things?
maybe a certain pair of sweatpants, coffee creamer, because the UK does not do coffee creamer. Mom brought a powdered coffee creamer, which I think she couldn't bring. Oh, she probably could have because she packed it. You can't bring it on the plane, but you can, if you check it in.
Okay, check it
But
in.
I don't remember if she brought actual creamer. But that was one of the things that I missed. Um, I, little things that seem so big over there, because they didn't have it. But I didn't miss like any other clothes that when I came back, I realized, oh my gosh, I need these. Like I can't get rid of these. Like I didn't think about it when I was abroad. I didn't. So, but now when I'm here, I can't get rid of it, even though I lived 10 months without it, and it didn't, hold a thought in our mind. So, we're very sentimental. We're just very sentimental creatures, I think. I mean, not everyone, but um, yeah, I just
I
and
think a question I have for you is you talked about how your life like completely changed. Like you took a bag or you took a suitcase or you took two suitcases and that was your life. You decided this. You took how many bag wait, how many
I
bags did you bring?
I'm a
Okay,
woman
this is a
and I
year.
went for a year. Okay, thank you. I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
visit once.
You okay, but imagine how many suitcases you would need to pack everything, right? Imagine how many suitcases you would need to pack your whole life to move for a year. And you only managed to pack four. And so you took those four suitcases. And when you went there, you realized you didn't need the other 10 or the other 15. You didn't need the rest of your life that was back home because you were so immersed with the culture and you realized how well the rest of the world does with less. So when you came home, you had all these habits and you had all these thrilling ideas of how you wanted your life to be after London, after studying abroad. And you wanted to bring that to America because you could embark on that a little bit more and grow it a little bit more and keep the person that you loved while you were there. Let's talk about your transition back home then. Like when you were in London, I know you were drinking tea all day. You were walking everywhere. Like you said, you packed your lunch. How did that change when you shifted back to the States?
Um, well, especially where I live, like it's not exactly walkable. So walking is, not really a huge part of my day to day life anymore. It's all car, things are, far in between. I think the weather also is really difficult to walk because the sun just beats down, just beats down. And also when it rains here, we kind of let it stop our lives rather than continue so much. It's like, no, I can't, it's raining, or no, I'm going to call because it's raining, or blah, 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 blah. Like, we're not going to do over there in the UK, it rains all the time. Like, rain or shine, I was playing tennis. You know what I mean? We didn't let weather dictate. Um, the extent of us making the most of our day, you know. But what I specifically found that was difficult, which I was in the best shape of my life over there. I was walking, I was drinking a lot of tea, which, you know, is full of vitamins. It's really healthy for you. It's not, you know, it's not as sweet. Um, Pretty much nothing over there is as sweet as over here. And that was a huge problem because I was telling you, like my doctor, when I was talking to my doctor, he was like, yeah, let me give you a to-do list for me. Like, don't drink milk for a month. Don't eat this and that for like 3 weeks. And I was just like, that is just not possible in this culture because it's very fast paced. Like you got to grab and go, which is why we have so many fast food places. And our food is full of, um, sugar. It's just full of sugar. So coming back from the UK, having tea 3 times a day was a lot difficult because the bitterness of the tea over there was not the same as the bitterness of the tea here because their food's not super sweet. Our bread is super sweet. Our burgers are super sweet. You put on ketchup and it's super sweet. You know, you're constantly just intaking really sweet foods. So it becomes like our palate becomes, okay, now I need more super sweets. Like the candy now has to be sweeter than the food, right?
Interesting.
But then you drink, the tea, and because it's, you know, it has this completely bitter, it tastes like gunk. And it sucks because this relationship with tea in the UK versus here has just changed drastically. I didn't think it would. I'm like, okay, Dory, you're gonna go home and you're just gonna keep on this lifestyle. It's just, it's not feasible, you know. So
Yeah,
bad
over here
days.
before she even left, I don't like tea. I don't like there's I try really hard. I like the idea of tea, but I can't manage to bring myself to drink it. Just the same way as water. Like water for me is really hard to drink. I don't know why. I'm obviously ultimately I'm embarrassed about it. Like I really try. Like it's not like a new year, new me. I'm gonna hop on this. It's like every Monday I do try. Like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I won't even wait until Monday. I'll start the day of, and I'll try and manage to make a tea, and it just doesn't hit the way that I need it to. And maybe that's just discipline. I just need to drink it no matter what because that's the whole thing about health. Sometimes you got to do things
It's, or
because you
it's
want
the
the
other food.
benefits. Yeah, yeah.
Or
So
it's the other
yeah.
food.
What?
Or it's the other food. Like it just does not it can't grab on to that taste. Because remember, like what you think about the UK, everyone's like, is it true the food's really bitter? You know, the food's dull or plain? It's like, yeah, which makes tea taste like, you know, a dessert. You know what I mean? Like a treat
Yeah,
yourself. Like that, you know,
yeah.
it's a different experience, but we overdo it over here to where nothing is like a really good experience unless it's, you know, extremely sweet, extremely unhealthy for you. And when I was in the UK, kind of talking about your water comment, we were, I don't know, it's more sustainable. People are more aware to like the climate, to the environment, trying to do things that's good for it. And so we would always have these tumblers. I mean, we have a lot of tumbler culture over here too, but it's not,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
it's not fully there yet, I feel still. But I would grab a tote. Over here, I never used to use a tote, but I
I
would get
love
a
the
tote.
concept of a tote. Just bringing a
It,
tote.
with your purse and the tote. I would pack my lunch in the tote. I would put my tumbler in the tote, and there's my water. And that
Can
was
I
like
just tell
all
you
I was
something? Can
drinking.
I tell you something real quick? Okay, so we just went, my family and I just went to Utah. And on the way to Utah, we went to the 85 bakery. I love the 85 bakery. Recommend the Hawaiian chicken and the ube bread and the passion fruit green tea with boba. It's a tea. It's a tea. See? I think passion fruit green tea, like I like green tea, but like with a bunch of little sweet things in it. But they told us that if we had spent over $40, we got this cute little 85 bakery tote bag for $1. And without, I mean, they didn't even have to tell us. We accidentally hit it because 85 bakery is not near me. It's like a sweet treat on travel day. So we were traveling. I just thought, let's stock up a little bit. We're going to be there for a couple days. We can just enjoy 85 bakery along the way. And the woman offered my husband, while I wasn't paying attention, I was paying attention to my son, and he was running around doing his own little thing, mother things. And she offered him it for $1, and he got it for me because it just looked like something I would like. And I got this tote, and I was so in love with it that every day in Utah, that tote was on me. I was in Utah, away from my home and my circumstances. I used that tote. I would pack little snacks and everything. And when we drove home last night and we had gotten home, I looked at this tote bag and I said, I'm not going to allow this. to walk away from me. I'm not going to allow this to escape me. This is going to become a new thing because I really do like it, the flexibility of having that little thing. And I'm always craving snacks. Like I need food on me always. And that tote is just a nice, cute little thing like I can have in my car. So whenever I need it, I have it, you know, I don't have to suffer, but I really like the tote concept. So I love that you utilized that in London as well. Do you still do that here though, right? That was
You
something
know,
that was good to transition.
okay, yes and no. Like I still use the tote, but it's more primarily in case I go grocery shopping. So I'll bring a tote, and I'll put a tote in a tote. You know, it's a little bit more like prepping for in case I need to use it now,
Right.
or I'll put my Kindle in it in case I get an opportunity to sit in the grass and read or something
Oh,
like
that's
that. But it's
nice.
not like I'm gonna pack my, I also used to carry birdseed all around. I used to just carry birdseed and I would feed the birds. And when people would visit me, they would say that's a highlight when we got to go and feed the ducks. Like whenever we would run into some animal like a bird, they would get so excited. Mom got to feed little ducklings. My friend Dominic came and he got to feed little ducklings too. Something about them visiting around that same time where they were
That's
born.
beautiful.
But yeah, so I used to carry birdseed, my lunch, and my water, and now it's more like, what if? The tote is a what if now. It's not a functional thing. It's more like, what if I need groceries? What if I get to read? And so on and so forth.
It's
Currently,
just
I'm
a
just gonna
spare purse at this point. Is that what I'm hearing?
which is a bummer. And I don't carry around birdseed anymore. I don't know why. I really want to, but anyways, this is my recent tote that I got.
That's so cool.
I got it
That
at the
is so
USC
cool.
Book Festival.
Aww.
Yes. And like I said, writing, books is this a part is an extension of my body. So that was very much a want. But I love it. So I just try to be conscientious with all my wants since I've come back. So the transition from England to America is now like, because before I went to England, it was lounge flies. You know what I mean? Like that was a want. And they're
Yes.
so expensive. But when I went to England, it also jolted me to see that people don't brand themselves as much. I didn't really see many lounge flies. I didn't really see a lot of flash in, attire, which you would think in London, which I mean, obviously you would see a lot more. But yeah, I just didn't see a lot of expression in that regard of, we feel good when we show off something that's expensive, but then that's just, they have their own styles, they can't, they're just saying, I can't be bothered, I can't be asked. So they don't really focus on what everyone else is doing, which
Interesting.
I really admire too. Um, but yeah, now that I've come back, I've realized, oh, I don't really know why I was a part of that culture or that train. So now I'm like, okay, do I really, really want it? Do I really, really need it? And what I'll do now is I'll see it 3 times, and if I'm still thinking about it, then I'll get it. But if I'm not, then I'm like, I can go without it for sure.
When you're like in the store shopping, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. So I
Okay.
went to
You're
Disneyland, and I went, and there was this really cute Winnie the Pooh tumbler. And I saw it for the first time. I'm like, it's like 60, $70. It's $70. Honestly, we found it when it was like 55, and we're like, can't. We don't know if we'll need it. It ended up going up to like $65, or 69, one of the two. And we saw it for the second time. I was like, man, we should have bought it when we did, but now it's super expensive, and I don't really know, do we need it? But by the third time, I'm like, while in between those visits, I was like really thinking about that. Like, I really want it. I'm like, okay, this is a want, and I know I'll use it. It's not for let me show off, but it's so cute, and I know it'll help me drink water. And yeah, that's something that I'm happy to use, and it's something that I did. So yeah, I just try and make sure that it's like I need it.
I really like this. It's an interesting perspective when you think about it. That's why everything you said to me really resonated with me. This concept of just like, I don't know, like ultimately when you look at it, it doesn't sound right. Like, oh, let's dole everything. Let's dole down everything so that the little things with a little hint of sweet can be appreciated. Like, it doesn't sound good, probably looking from America, like, oh, I could not live like that because everything's so sweet. I don't need to wait for it. But when you actually, if you kind of like, if you take some time and you be open minded to it, it's like, it can teach us humility. It can make us really open our eyes to the bigger picture, and it can allow us more time to focus on other things. If we're not trying to feed our reward system with all these sweet things, these pretty flashy, big things that make us think this is what other people are going to look at me and define me by, not the inside. So like if you dull the outside, the people who actually want to get to know you more, those are the people. It's automatically a filter. Just being dull is filter. You get to filter out all the people that aren't interested in anything internal except external. You filter out all the people that are like, well, I could never associate myself with someone who looks like that. I could
Yeah.
never be around someone with like this person wears the same shirt every single day. Like I need something different. Like that would bother me. You know, the judgmental, the external judging, right? I like that idea. I really like that perspective and that concept. That's why when you told me about it, I'm like, that absolutely blew my mind. Like, I'm like, wow, what if I became so small on the outside that my heart could just expand using all the space that I made up by allowing everything to go away? And that's why I really wanted to get you on here so we could talk about it. Like right now, we are in the month of May. And last year in May was the month I decided to transition my life and intentionally grow on purpose. I developed a sense of awareness that was actually present instead of thinking, oh, you know, I'm 23. I need to be here. I need to be here. So that I'm constantly looking ahead, looking ahead, looking ahead. I'm not looking here. And here is where contentment is. Like I always thought, man, how can I experience contentment? I can't when I'm looking ahead because ahead I'll never get there. I'll never get there. I'll never get to the future. It's always right now. And so when you look at the future, it's like I'll be content if I get it, but it's always out of reach. What is within reach is where we are right now. Our value is not, to me, our value is not in our career, but what we choose with the time we're given today. And that switch, that mental switch for me is what really helped me accept me exactly where I'm at and acknowledge the things that I'd like to pursue and actually do them. So it's been a full year since I started the Processing Mind blog, and I've taken breaks, but I haven't stopped accepting that resolve of contentment and being present now. So now when people look at me like they talk 5-year plans, I'm like, I have a plan for right now and I'm really excited to pursue it because it's within reach for me. I have an end goal, like I have a goal in mind, but it's nothing secure. Like in 5 years, I need this, and this. It's like, no, I'm here right now. And if what I'm doing right now gets me there, I'm okay with it, but I can't focus on this. I have to focus on this. And so this month of May has really gotten me thinking about what I want for this next year, what I want for this month in general. And I came up with a new name for the Processing Mind, but it's more refined and it has the same concept. So the concept will always be growing on purpose. This is volume 2 of the Processing Mind blog, and I'm calling it Soiled Root. And it talks about how we are seeds as humans. And the soil is the environment we place ourselves in. And so I want to take this next year putting myself in different soil, putting myself in different environments to see how much more my roots grow, how much more I can actually bloom. And that's why when you told me like your environment, you switch to a different environment. Seeds don't just need soil. It doesn't need just any soil. Certain seeds need specific soil to help them bloom faster or help them thrive. Like we want to thrive. Like our whole goal as humans, I haven't met a single person who hasn't wanted to thrive. Everyone who has a heart and just feels like I would love this for myself. Like everyone would love something for themselves, you know, even if it's to help other people. I would love if I could help this person, or I would love if I could just get back to school, or I would love if I could be there for my son a little bit more. I would love this and this and this. And they don't realize that their environment it could be the problem. It could be the problem. And for a lot of
Yeah.
people, I think it is. For a lot
Yeah.
of people, I think it is, you know?
I think like, kind of going back to my doctor and what he was saying, and oh, you need to stop eating this, take a break from this, blah, 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 blah. It's not that it's impossible, but it is really difficult. And
Yeah.
most often than not, like it's just not feasible. It's not that it's impossible. You would have to really, really, really try. And it does suck that, for your health, we're challenged a lot to just get to that like overall health, achievement. But yeah, the different environments makes it a lot easier. Like walking was difficult. Like when I started walking, I was in the closest flat student apartment living to the school, and it was still so far to me. For people who are walking a mile, it doesn't seem so far at all. But even just the grocery store was still on the same lane as my flat, so it was literally one walk to get there, and that was long too. But so I had to develop, it's still a challenge, but it's just a lot easier because one environment forces you to do it, really, and another environment gives you the choice, and then you're challenged making that decision and then going through it as well, like forced to do it as well. So there's two more hurdles rather than the other environment providing one. So
Well,
yeah,
I
I think
think
that
that you also shed light in what we talked about earlier too about you can't just go for 4 months. It's not the environment is not a 4 month thing. You were talking about how it's long term. You went for a year, and originally before you even went, you were thinking about going for only one semester because you couldn't imagine leaving your dogs behind. You can imagine leaving your partner behind. You couldn't imagine leaving so much behind and missing out on family events and
yeah.
circumstances like that. You couldn't imagine. So you thought, okay, maybe 6 months is all I need. And looking back in hindsight now, you're like, if I had only stayed 6 months, I would have stumped my growth. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have all the things that you had. So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, I was talking about when I went over there, there was like a timeline here. And so like the first 4 months of me being there, I learned what it was like to be American. I learned what my culture was. And I was learning about another culture, and I was learning how to adapt because I was going to be there for a really long time, learning how I fit in with this environment. And then over break, which was like a month and a half too, whereas some students like go home like because they were only one semester, or they go home to visit family. Like I stayed there, and it really forced me to now adapt and kind of live that life for a little bit, to where after that little time span of a month, 2 months, then I finally felt like I became a part of that environment. Like I was no longer like just like an outlier just visiting, or I was a tourist. It's like, no, I'm a native. I became a part of the environment. You know, I I adapted to the culture. I also had my own, but it was still like just more fuller of an experience. But it took 6 7 months to really get used to it. So I really can't imagine people who really only go for four, like how much it really becomes a part of them, because it's a transition. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. Um, and then those last 3 months was really me just basking in this like culture, this new found identity, personality. Um, and I got to spend 3 months in that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a long time for this new self. So it felt like I really molded and it dried, and I really got to be there and be that person for, a life changing amount of time. And then when I
Yeah.
came back, obviously the cracked, some things were interrupted, but still a lot of it dried, you know?
Yeah.
So
You were talking about how in the beginning you were the closest flat to the school and still even that walk felt like really hard on you, but by the end, like those 3 minutes that you were really basking in this new life you set up for yourself, how much did you end up walking? How many trains did you take alone? I mean, in America, like it's dangerous here. Like I can't even imagine. Like you're a minute older than I am, and I can't imagine taking the train on my own. Like I can't imagine walking even from here like to a grocery store on my own. I can't imagine going anywhere alone. And for you, let's
yeah,
talk about how safe you felt walking. Like how safe you felt traveling on your own. You didn't even just stay in London. You took the leap to get on a plane and go somewhere. Can you talk about that?
man. Oh wow. I just, that's a little bit of a complicated question, just because there are some like um politics associated around it, like, oh, UK doesn't have don't have guns, so that's why it's safer. But on the other side, they have knives, so you can get, stabbed and so on. And there's a lot of stealing going on over in the UK. Like they'll steal your phone in broad daylight, so there's still this idea of danger, but it's not to the extremity from what I've noticed as it is in America. So like as soon as I left America, you don't really see a lot of ads for human trafficking. Um, one of my friends who's a Bret, is native, she said, "Oh, I didn't even learn about human trafficking until I was 16. We learned it at a very young age. And as soon as I got like flew back, like I stopped in Canada. The first thing I got to when I was just waiting in the airport to go fully home, I see a human trafficking like poster, like beware. You know what I mean? So there's just this different like environment in regards to safety. Like I said, with the Brits previously, like they just had this thing where it's like I can't be asked, like I can't be bothered, and it really tells me that they are just so they've got tunnel vision, like in a really impactful, beneficial way where they're really only thinking about themselves. They're not looking at anybody else. They're not like, worried and trying to harm them as much, from my experience. And remember, like I said, I have a student traveling experience, and don't get me wrong, like when I learned to walk, you walk a certain way. So, while I felt safe, I didn't feel like anyone was following me. I walked fast and made it sure like other people didn't think I was a tourist. Like I never like stopped and kind of meandered. Mom will tell you when she visited me, we walked fast. We looked like we knew where we were going.
Yeah.
We were just like there ain't no stopping and looking lost. There ain't no that. Like we get to where we're going. That's it. Um
Interesting.
so, I mean, there are times where you could just wander and like experience it for sure. And again, like I was in a lot of like touristy places, so there was just a lot more people around to see and witness and so on. Not that that really does anything depending on how brave they are, but I mean, it's a normal thing. We're all kind of going there for the same reason to be in our own lanes and enjoy
I
this
like that.
vacation that we're on.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, like I learned how to walk. I did, don't get me wrong, I did travel with friends. Like I would go with one person, I would go with two. Sometimes I would go by myself. One of my last trips I made before I came home, I went to Jane Austen's house, and also talking about like walking as a stretch, like from my flat to the school, my flat to the grocery store, being extremely hard. I eventually walked so much that I could walk for a full hour and wanted to do that, and really just got to just enjoy being in the environment. Like I'm just walking in this world that I came in alone, and I get to walk through it alone. And it's just such a special thing. And it gets me so mad in America where I feel like I came into this world, but I can't live it by myself. Like I really do feel unsafe. Like I won't stay here if I'm by myself. You know what I mean? I won't live to
Hmm.
see another day if I'm by myself. But um, yeah, I went to Jane Austen's house, and I was, um, I walked from the train station and to like, I don't know, like 30 minutes to catch a bus, and the bus took me the rest of the way. And then when I was done, I was like, huh, this is my last kind of hurrah. Let me just walk from the house to the train. It was an hour, and it really didn't feel like an hour. It really didn't feel like an hour. Like
That's
time is different
awesome.
over there too. Time is extremely fast over here. Like we just, go, go, go. We don't have enough time to even stop for coffee. You know what I mean? We make time for coffee, but we don't have time to stop for it. So how could I ever think that I had 30 minutes to walk from my home to my job? Like 30 minutes and walking. Like I could get there faster. No, I never felt, oh my gosh, I have to get there faster in the UK. Like it's just, yeah, that's, little tangent, but I
I
mean, it was
really do think that's
incredible.
relatable. I feel like a lot of people feel that way, and that's why it's important to shed light on a new perspective of a new environment and new soil. Like I said, like humans are the seed in this like idea of mine. Like we're the seed, and we just really need new soil. Like sometimes if we find that we're in a certain soil for too long and we're just not thriving the way we need to, yes, sometimes it's us. Like we need to change the structure of our seed, but also it's the soil. It is a soil. Like I found, like, okay, real quick talking about plants, but I found that people are saying that if you soak banana peels, like one way you can recycle banana peels is just soak it in water, and that
Oh,
banana water really helps seeds thrive. Like it helps grow your plants.
that's
I have
cool.
not tested it. I'm not sure, but a lot of people have been telling me that. And so like that's another thing. Like those supplements are important as well, but really, and like the reason why I wanted to get you on and really talk to you about it is really just to have that perspective of the soil. So like from what I'm getting out of everything that you said, for a person who's never done it before, if you're going to commit to new soil, like your advice for us would probably be time for sure, like time for sure. You don't just have, it can't just be like a temporary thing. You have to commit to providing the space to allow the soil to change you, and allow you to thrive. Of course, there's times where it was you faced hardship. You faced hardship, and it really, that is a battle, because sometimes you don't know if that hardship is going to fade, or you're like you're just too weak for it, or that hardship
Yeah.
is the thing that's going to make you stronger. But other than committing time to the growth of you, what else would you give us as advice when going into a new environment?
Yeah, I think well, I mean you kind of hit it on the nail, like time, but what I would say first, like I feel like it's in steps, and the first step would to be brave. Like you can't do, if you're not willing to be brave, if you're not committed to being brave, it's not going to happen, because you won't have that bravery to get through it. You know what I mean? With the time that it takes.
Yeah.
Um I would say to really embrace discomfort, look forward to it. Like, kind of like as an example, I used to be really afraid of getting shots at the doctor, and I tricked myself saying, "Oh my gosh, I love shots. Give me more shots." And I just kind of forced myself to do it, and I tricked my mind into thinking, "Yeah, you totally love it." I totally didn't, but I just didn't want to. I would rather sit in excitement than to sit in fear. And so I forced myself to do it in a more positive way, like, yeah, I'm so brave, like, yeah, give me shots. I love shots, blah, blah, blah. That's weird. Anyways, but so yeah, so like you would need to really embrace discomfort, be brave, embrace discomfort, look forward to it, look
Hmm.
forward to it. You'll reap the benefits, and also accept that time will need to be taken for that.
That's
The
right.
uncertainty is killer, but that's what makes our stories so unique. Like if we knew the answers, you'd just be waiting for it to happen, and then we'd just be stagnant. So it's just, you
Yeah.
can't, you have uncertainty is just unfortunately a factor in play. Like you just have to get through it, and you have to commit, and and also give yourself grace, because I gave myself so much grace. Like in those first 4 months, I slept more than I was awake. I felt so guilty, like I'm doing something people dream of and I'm wasting it, but I knew that's what my body needed. And I then did force myself to get up at times as well and fight it. But
Hmm.
you can't constantly always be fighting. You'll get too tired and you'll burn out. You don't want to burn
Yeah.
out.
Hmm.
And I
Adjustment
also,
is individualized. I will tell you that adjusting to anything is individualized. Like it's not a one
yeah,
size fits all. And I think part of the wisdom that comes with age is acknowledging that that discomfort that you talked about. It's like, for me, I don't know how relatable this is, but I've kind of sat with the thought that as a child, if I didn't want to do something, if I was afraid of it, I would run away. Like I would run. There was no question to it. Like there's no convincing me to step into my fear. But as I grew older, I realized that there's just no better way than to step into your fear. So now, like, if there's something I don't want to do, I will actively be in the line walking towards it, not wanting to do it. So, like, for me, I really want to travel. Like, before I didn't want to travel, I just wanted a home. I wanted the American dream is to buy a home, to have kids, work in a cubicle, provide. And, to some extent, I've achieved that. I've achieved that. And that's probably why I'm wanting to grow a little bit more into myself. And one way I want to do that is through travel, but I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid of flying. And in your trip alone, like of 10 months, you took how many plane rides? Like how many plane rides? Like she took so many that it actually deflates me. Like I lose my breath when I think about that, but my will to travel is so strong that I'm willing to be in that line at TSA being scared to death. I
yeah,
went to Hawaii last year and I couldn't breathe. Like that whole time I was on the plane, and we were all together. We weren't seated together, but we were all on the same plane, and I just couldn't breathe. Like I was literally in my seat for all 5 hours. And that's why when I think about going to London, I'm thinking about that plane ride. And I'm like, how can I be breathless for that long?
you
But
sleep, you sleep, you sleep, you sleep, you sleep. I
okay.
told everyone who came to visit me, you sleep. Do not come to me if you haven't slept, because you will not be awake in the time zone that you are. You just sleep, okay? If
That's
you
good
can't
advice.
sleep, you close your eyes and you listen to podcast, or you listen to audiobook, you
You
listen
close
to
your eyes.
music, you keep them eyes closed. That's what you do.
When I
I
was
will say,
younger, I always needed that window seat. But now I feel like I need to be inside, like further in. I need an aisle. Like now it's
well,
weird. I
I
need
will
an aisle
say
seat.
I like the window because you can lay on it. That's the only like you can keep that edge
Okay.
closed, but you can
Okay.
lay on it and then
And you
use
know
the
what I
bed.
just got into? I just got into travel pillows. Before, like, I hated travel pillows because, like, the back is just so clunky. But I
Yeah,
found one for this Utah trip that's so narrow in it, and it just, I sink in it. Like, it's, I'm actually really excited. So maybe if I can get over that fear, like, again, like, it's okay if that's what you're telling me is probably might help for me. And I can't imagine me traveling alone without
that's
you. But
amazing.
in the event that I do and I step into that bravery, that discomfort, that fear, I only know that good things will come
You make
because
sure
that's
you're
what growth
safe.
counts.
You do research, you
Yes.
make sure you're safe. Remember, I was a student, so like I said, that environment's different. So going to school abroad is a lot easier than just traveling without
Right.
any experience before
Yeah.
alone. So just making sure, but you walk fast. You
You walk
sleep on the plane, you walk fast. You witness, you pay very close attention, watch what other people are doing, and you copy them. That's what you do. You copy them. You
fake
look
it till
like
you
them, you
make it.
copy them. Okay.
I love
I
that.
will
No,
say
I love
I
that.
do have to go. Um,
Yes, I
but
was going to say on that note, thank you so much for providing your knowledge and providing your perspective on this. I think there's a lot of people that could benefit from it and can learn how to step into that fear and be brave and to recognize the soil that they're in right now and maybe identify what new soil might help them grow. So thank you so much for coming on this podcast, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.
that was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. This was fun. This was fun. I hope we could do it again. That was awesome. Because I am very curious to see, because you said you wanted to make yourself small, and I feel like, humble,
Yes.
modest, having very little external materialistic
In a
things
positive light, in a
in a
positive
positive
light.
way, of course. But I've known you to want to do that for years. You know what I mean? So what makes this
Yeah.
want, which it is a want, what makes this want different, and how will you achieve it for yourself? Like, what is that now? What is the difference in this conversation mean to you based off of how you conduct yourself?
I think for me, becoming small is less of having the resolve to want less of the shiny things. I don't think I've always been interested in shiny things. I think something that I've leaned into this last year that is like kind of shiny or creative. It like showing my creative side has been in my headscarves and my earrings. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's certain people that's like if you aren't wearing your glasses or if you're not wearing your headscarf or if you're not wearing your earrings, I don't know you. And so recognizing how I want to identify myself, and this seems like a humble way, like the headscarf feels humble. I don't have to do big stuff with my hair, and doing big stuff with your hair isn't that big of a problem. Like it's not a problem. If that's how you want to showcase yourself, then do it. But for me, I've always been so uninterested in my hair, but I know that's a feminine thing. So one way that I can step into my femininity while also having it be expressive is with my headscarves and with my earrings. Like I used to never love earrings. I remember
I
when you
love
got
it.
earrings and they asked me if I wanted earrings and I said no. And it took me a long time before I ended up getting my ears pierced. But now it's such a big thing 26 years later. Like it's a big thing for me. And so just understanding that with more knowledge and understanding and different perspectives is definitely going to help me grow. If you want to get somewhere, the only way to get there as fast as possible is to network and lean into people who've already been there. So that way you can feel more
Mm-hmm.
like a newfound confidence that you can do it. Like from your story, your backstory, your upbringing does not put you in London at all. The way you were raised does not put you in London at all. The way you've conducted yourself, it doesn't put you there. And so the fact that you've managed to be at such a significant disposition, and your backstory is another story for another time, but to be able to come out of yourself, you didn't have any support. You hardly had any support going to London. It was a hard thing. No one's ever been there. No one's ever done it. And so for
Yeah.
you, it's like, I have to be brave because I can't lean on other people. I'm the youngest by a minute. I'm the youngest by a minute. I've seen all my siblings step into the pitfalls, and I looked at them and I'm like, nope, not going there. Nope, not going there. And I always thought, wow, I'm invincible. Like I've never had to have a problem until I got to the point where no one's ever done it before, and I had to really sit with the fact that I am going to fail And I wasn't prepared for that because I had never had to practice it. I had never had to. Like if you were to fall, I'd be like, okay, no, thank you. If she were to fall, okay, no, thank you.
Mhm.
I just denied it. And maybe that's why I ran away from the lines. I ran away from the lines as a child. I never, like, I had no need to fail. But then as I grew older and I realized it's just an inevitable,
Yeah.
it's an inevitable experience. If you have the heart to grow and you want to be somewhere or be someone for yourself that you're proud of, you have to go a little bit beyond what you feel you're capable of, because then on the other side of that tunnel, it's a newfound world. It's a new soil. It's new soil, and it's new capability, and it's new strength. So for me personally, that, to answer your question, is just like to continue to be okay with the present and allow the present to teach me. I've never allowed the present to teach me, and if I had allowed it a long time ago, I feel like me as a person would probably be more mature. I probably wouldn't be relying on my husband to be my dad, or relying on, anybody to be like, okay, you need to teach me, I know nothing, so
Mhm.
I'll just
Yeah.
keep going little by little, and hopefully producing these podcasts to show that perspective for the people that might just be like me and need that extra push or that extra, pep talk. Because I think it works. I think it works.
That's amazing. I love, and I wouldn't say I didn't have any support. I know what you meant. Like nobody had that experience. I have the support in that regard. But you gave me bravery as well. Like my family did fill me with bravery. Just even with mom not saying, "Oh no, are you ready?" Like no, mom was like, "If this is what you want, you do it," which gave me confidence. And you putting your card on my phone, like that gave me confidence that I'm not gonna starve. You know what I mean? Like I had something to fall back on if I needed it. And that's even if that was just an action and I never used it, which I did, thank you. But even if that was an action that, like, even if I didn't use it, it still created it's instilled
That's good.
confidence, bravery in me to, last those 10 months. So that was wonderful, Brooklyn. Thank you for having me and having me as your first guest. I loved it. This is fun. Much more to come.